What's up, boys? Today I'm going to be giving y'all a comprehensive guide on how to be effective with Trapper at the highest MMR. After this video, you're going to have a much more firm and clear understanding on how to approach your matches with Trapper. So let's get into it. First, I would like to start with this add-on right here and the importance of this add-on. This add-on is almost essential to playing Trapper at the highest MMR. It saves you a ton of time, and it wastes them a ton of time. And it also gives survivors a false sense of security. Let's say you trap a bus, and somebody has disarmed it. All right, let's say you're in a chase with somebody else, and they're on comms, and they tell that person, hey, you can rotate towards the bus. There was a trap there. I disarmed it. It's safe to go there. Well, guess what? It's actually not safe to go there because it likely has reset itself. There are many ways to use this add-on. You can use it in the middle of chase. You can actually wait the timer out if all your other traps are set. You can wait the timer out as this is disarmed and get a free one-shot down with this add-on right here. So yeah, it's pretty essential at the highest level with Trapper. Now for this secondary add-on here, you can get kind of creative. My signature is the Honing Stone, and I'll go over why this is so strong in a second, but there are other options. Bloody Coil is also very popular, and there are builds that you can bring for this, but I'm not going to get into that quite yet. A lot of people suggest the Trapper Sack. This is an alright add-on, but it isn't the best for one particular reason. Here at the bottom, you see it says bear traps cannot be picked up. So if you set a trap and they've utilized the pallet already and you've gotten rid of that pallet, well, you can't reuse that trap. It's stuck there. So you're basically down a trap. You've wasted a trap, and you want to get rid of pallets as much as possible. Okay, the less pallets on the map, the stronger Trapper becomes, and it is, dependent on the map. Some maps have more pallets, some maps have stronger pallets, but that general rule still applies. So you're encouraged to break as many pallets as possible, and you want to be replacing your traps around the map for that element of surprise. And if you have the Trapper Sack, you can't do that. You may get a quick start, sure, but once those pallets are gone, those traps are basically, they can't be used anymore. So there you go. I would suggest the Trapper Bag instead of the Trapper Sack. It's a green add-on, so you guys are more likely to have more of them laying around, but you start with one extra bear trap, and you can also transport one extra bear trap. So I think this is a better alternative to the Trapper Sack. If you want a really strong start and you brought Corrupt or whatever, or you want to maybe not have to bring Corrupt and you want to replace that with this, then sure, go ahead. You can still win matches with this, of course. It's viable, but I think there are better options. But let's say you're just feeling creative one day. You want to bring the Trapper Sack. I don't think you'll have too much of an issue. Now, I mentioned that breaking pallets makes Trapper stronger and stronger. And this is all because you can create massive dead zones with Trapper using his traps. We'll get into that in a second. But breaking pallets is absolutely essential. Your goal with Trapper is to break as many pallets as quickly as possible in every single match. That's your goal. That's why in almost every single build you will see me bring with Trapper, I bring Brutal Strength. This is, once again, almost essential. You can bring meaner builds like full gen regression, sloppy, stuff like that. You can bring things like that, and you don't really have to utilize this because those give you other pros, and it's just, they can kind of outweigh this. But if you want to get, bring a chill build or whatever, or just most builds in general without bringing just your basic 4 gen regression, blah, 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 just copy paste, cliche ass build, I would certainly suggest you incorporate Brutal Strength in that build. This makes everything so much easier with Trapper. One of the reasons this is so strong is because once survivors give you a pallet, you can break that pallet incredibly quickly, and they're forced to rotate to the nearest pallet, and that nearest pallet is likely trapped. Or if it's not, it's a weak pallet because you've already trapped all the strong pallets and you've only left them weak pallets. So it's basically a free hit. So that's the perks, but back to the add-ons. I really want to focus on the Honing Stone. This is my signature add-on. This is my bread and butter right here. The Honing Stone. It gives your traps so much more value. So much more value. You can basically, basically makes Trapper a one-shot killer, and you can cross-map snipe people with your traps. And if they free themselves, they will be left down instead of injured. That's what this add-on does here. Now let me paint you guys a scenario that is incredibly common and really highlights the strength of this add-on here and how you can basically clean sweep a team with just one add-on. All right, let's jump into Microsoft Paint. These 4 circles represent 4 survivors. Let's say this survivor here is dead. Let's say this one here is on a hook and it's only their first hook state. I'm going to try to draw a little hook right there. All right, so that's a hook. So this person can't do anything. All right, they're on hook. Now, only these 2 people can save this person here, right? So the game isn't won yet. For most killers, this does not mean you won the game. Except you are not most killers. You are a trapper and you brought the Honing Stone. So let's say this person hasn't, saved this person yet or whatever, right? Neither has this person, whatever. And let's say you are in a chase with this person here and they step into a trap. Now it is all on this person, but they have a very difficult decision to make. Because remember, you have the Honing Stone. And what does that add-on do? If this person here frees themselves, they will be down. And then this person has to save one of these 2, which is going to be incredibly difficult. And it will likely just end up in a trade and you'll just win the game. But we're jumping ahead here. Okay. So this person is in a trap, and only if they know what the add-on does, which a lot of survivors don't, it does show them the logo. So let's say they do know what the add-on does, because if they get themselves out, then only this person's left. You're likely you just won the game, right? But let's just say this person does know what the add-on does and they're purposely not freeing themselves. So they're just stuck in this trap here. And now you're in a chase with this person here. How are they going to save anybody without it being a trade? Because this person is effectively out for the count. They're basically on a hook, right? So they can go for this person, but you'll likely down them, right? If you're in a chase with them and they find this person, you know where they are, right? They're going to catch up to this person, try to free them, but they're going to go down in the process. And now this person will be down, and now only this person's left. They're already injured and they have to go for this hook save, right? And then they're going to trade because they're injured. It's one shot. And then, you catch up with this person, their base get BT. They're just going to trade until you win. It's checkmate, right? Basically, no matter which way you cut this situation here, if you catch this person here and you get in chase with them, you've won. That's all there is to it. It's just going to result in multiple trades until everybody dies. It's basically a checkmate. And all you needed was one person dead, one person on a hook, get in a chase with one of the 2 remaining people, one steps into a trap, and you have one person left. And all you needed was one trap to make all this happen. And it's all possible because of one add-on. And that add-on is the Honing Stone. This may sound like an incredibly specific scenario that is not very realistic. I kid you not, this happens if you play 10 matches with Trapper, even at a high MMR. This exact scenario will pop up at least 4 to 5 of those 10 matches. This is likely to take place. People that watch my channel, how many times have y'all seen this happen? How many times? I just hold them there, right? I don't even down them. I just hold them there in that trap. And we just catch up to this last person, and they're trying to save this person, or they're trying to unhook this person, and they just keep going down, and it's a trade, and they get this person up, and it's a down. You're never going to have more than 2 people up after you put them in this scenario right here. And all you need is this. All you need is this. And this is really not that hard. If you're a good killer, this is not hard to make happen. Now, how do you get specifically one person dead? What I like to do is tunnel. Yeah, tunneling is incredibly effective with Trapper. Okay, and if you're like, oh no, I don't want to tunnel, I'm not gonna do that to the survivors. Look, I'm not here to coddle survivors while killing them. I'm here to kill them in the most effective and efficient way possible. I'm not here to follow some made-up survival rulebook, some fantasy rules that my opposing team created to make my job at winning harder. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to win. And that's all there is to it. All right, I'm here to compete at the highest MMR with one of the weakest killers in the game. So, yeah, tunnel. If you want to make it happen, tunnel. And if you tunnel one person out the game, this is so likely to happen. It's actually absurd. You will win so many games with just this one add-on with this scenario right here. Now I'm going to show you guys the basic gameplay loop for Trapper. This green circle right here represents a generator. These long ovals represent strong loops with pallets. And this small circle right here represents a weak loop. Okay. Now let's say you've trapped this loop. You've trapped this loop. You've trapped this loop. And you didn't trap this loop here. It's a weak loop. Why would you, right? With Trapper, you want to trap the strongest loops and only leave them the weakest loops to play. Now, this scenario is going to play out one of two ways. All right. Let's say scenario one is they are not aware that this loop, and this loop are trapped. They're going to run to each, right? Boom, boom, boom. And they're going to realize, let's say they don't step into a trap. If they step into a trap, it's a one shot down. You're just going to hook them, right? Let's say they see this trap, they see this trap, and they see this trap. And now the nearest loop is all the way over here. By the time they can get from here to here to here to here, you are going to hit them along the way. Whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's here, or whether it's here. One of these rotations, you are going to hit them. Now you've got that first hit. They make it to here. They only have a weak pallet. So either you hit them before they break the pallet or after. Because you have brutal strength, right? You're breaking pallets quickly. You get this weak pallet out the way. It's hard for them to play. You're going to hit them here. Let's say you get the pallet out the way and now they have to rotate. Where are they going to rotate? Where are they going to rotate? All the strong loops are trapped and you only left them the weak loops. And now they have to rotate somewhere else. You're going to get them on their way out. That's how you get your down. And it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But let's go over the other scenario. Now, let's say they know that these are trapped and they haven't been disarmed for whatever reason. Maybe one has been disarmed, but it reset itself because you brought the Eerie add-on, right? So let's say they know they can't play these loops and they know their only option from this generator is to go all the way over here to play this weak pallet. You're most definitely going to hit them on their way there. For sure. You're going to hit them on their way there. Okay? But let's say you don't. Let's say you don't. They make it there safely. Well, once again, the same thing applies. They only have a weak pallet to play. You're likely going to hit them on this. And once they rotate, you're going to hit them on their way out. Because they're not going to have anything to work with. How are they going to get back over here and play what? Play which? And I know this is a small drawing, but just imagine this on a larger scale. You have more traps and there's more loops. More traps go towards more loops, and then you know it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I'm just showing you it on a small scale to simplify it for y'all. Okay? So either way, they don't really have anything to work with here. If you trap all these strong loops and only leave them the weak loops to play, you're either going to hit them on their way, you're going to hit them while they're checking for traps, or you're going to break a pallet fast once they've played the weak loop if you didn't already hit them on it, and you're going to hit them on their way out, and what's going to be left for them? Another weak loop. Another weak loop. Right there. And you're either going to hit them on their way to it, on their way out of it, or on it. That is the Trapper gameplay loop. Right there. That's the blueprint. I know this was on a small scale, but you have more traps, there's more loops, strong loops, weak loops, trap the strong loops, boom. But there are different ways to trap different loops. All right, I think this is better lighting. All right. So let's say you have a TL wall. Very common loop. I'm gonna show you how to trap that. All right, because each map is trapped differently. Each loop is trapped differently. Let's say you have a TL wall. Boom. These blue lines represent the vault on each. Okay. When you come across a TL wall with Trapper, you want to trap the T. Why do you want to trap the T? I usually do it on the inside. It's harder for them to spot because usually there's going to be a loop right here or a gen or somewhere around here, and they're going to rotate inward. And they're not going to see the trap from the outside when they go for that fast vault, and it's going to bait them to vault into it. That's why I always do it on the inside. But why do you trap? So that's why you trap the inside of the T. But why do you trap the T? Well, because they can no longer utilize this. Now all they have is the L. So now all you have to do is learn how to loop the L. Which way do you want to run them? You don't want to run them this way, because what you give them is the fast vault. They have a straight shot right into the window. What you want to do is run them this way, so they only have the medium vault. No matter which way they go, if they come through here again, they only have the medium vault, unless they cut here and then go in, which more advanced survivors are going to do, but usually you shouldn't even let them get that far. Because let's say they're already in the loop of vaulting this window, right? Now they're starting to vault it. So boom. If you let them go here, they have this angle right here. It's basically a perfect fast vault. They're just going to vault it, run around here, and boom, straight into the fast vault, and they're just going to rinse and repeat. You're going to kill time. If you run them through it this way, they are forced to play the medium vault. Now you can catch up. Now you can hit them because they can't fast vault it. You're going to get them on their way through the window. Medium vaults and fast vaults, it's a huge difference. They do so much for you. You don't want them playing fast vaults. I know for your average player, it sounds like a small, medium, fast. What's the difference? It means literally everything. It's the difference between you getting that hit or not getting that hit. That's the difference for those who are wondering. So that's how you loop and trap the TL walls. Now let's go over Shack. This is Shack, okay? This is the vault. This is the first doorway, and this is the doorway with the pallet. I like to use 2 traps for Shack. First trap goes on the vault on the inside. First, it's to bait them. And this is a big thing with Trapper. See, with Trapper, I'm going to turn you into a master baiter. All right? You're going to be a master at baiting them straight into your trap. I can't say that shit. All right. Anyway, you're going to become a master at baiting them into your traps. If they are rotating in from whichever loop out here, they're going to see an open window and think, oh, cool. I can vault that. He didn't trap it. Psych! There's a trap on the inside. Boom. Instant down. If they have basement right here, they're dead. All right. But let's not get that far. All right. First trap goes there. And that's why. It goes on the inside, not only to bait them, but if you decide to play basement Trapper, okay, they have to come inside of the shack in order to disarm this. They can't disarm it from the outside. All right. So when they're, doing whatever's down here and everyone's occupied, someone can't just creep up and disarm this trap and then peel away. So when the person gets unhooked, they can just vault right through. That's why, so it's multi-purpose, this trap, but that's why you trap the inside. It's for multiple purposes, but my favorite reason is for the baiting. Bait them into it, all right? False sense of security. That's what you want to give survivors with Trapper. Make it look like things are all safe, fine, dandy, sunshine and rainbows. Actually, it's just a trap. It's just a bear trap. Anyways, so now, where do you put your other trap? So there's 2 ways you can go about this. It's two like mindsets you can approach this next trap with, all right? You can trap the entrance without the pallet, okay? And what that does is they're going to run in, all right? They run in, and now they can't get out. They're in a death trap. They're likely going to give you the pallet. Either they're going to get M1'd and leave, or they're going to drop that pallet because they haven't checked these yet. Because you're maybe like right on their ass. They give you that pallet, or they're trying to buy themselves more time. But this is just a way to get this shack pallet out the way. So now you can remove one of these traps and you can reuse it later. This is more advanced, I would say. It's a little more advanced, but that's how so basically you bait them into a death trap. They think it's safe because the pallet, they're like, oh, he didn't trap up shack. Boom. They can't get out now because there's a trap here. And now they have to take a hit in order to get out, or they're just going to step into one of these traps and go down. But then you have this trap right here. Now, why would you trap this? Well, this trap is a little more risky. Okay? The goal of this trap here is to actually get them to step in the trap for the one shot down. I get people with this all the time. It is risky, but it's doable. I landed a lot. But if you want a safer option, I would say go for the death trap method instead of the insta down method. But if you want to go for the insta down, you put it there. They're in a panic. They're running the shack, and boom. But this way, you're going to trade off the potential to get the spout out the way for the insta down. Okay? And either way, when you do it like this, they can't use shack. They can't use it. It's too trapped. You know, they have to rotate to something else. You're going to get a hit if they run to shack. Plain and simple. You're getting a hit, and if you're lucky, you're getting a down. And if they already are injured, they're just dead. So yeah, that's how this works. Now, if you decide to bring Brutal Strength with Trapper, you want to prioritize trapping windows in loops over pallets. All right, when you're like offered a jungle gym, for example, you want to trap the window over the pallet. It is dependable, but they can reuse the windows over and over and over again. Really good survivors that know their check spots, they're going to run you all freaking day, no matter how good you are, dude. If they have the check spots down, there's very little you can do about it. So you want to trap that. Now they can't utilize that. All they have is the pallet left. You have Brutal Strength though. You're going to break that pallet pretty quickly, and now you're forcing them to rotate right out that loop once they give you the pallet. You want to be a little... You don't really want to respect pallets with Trapper. You want to get these pallets out the way as quickly as possible. If you respect every freaking pallet on the map, it's never going to happen. Just eat the stun and then move on. Get rid of the pallet and move on. You want to force them to rotate as fast as possible because you want them to rotate either into a trap or one of the weak remaining loops. Okay? Now, when you bring these two add-ons here, the only way they can really counter you is if they have incredible coordination. Okay? There's going to have to be somebody off a gen at almost all times constantly disarming your traps. Now you can punish them by doing this by bringing the Bloody Coil. This is when the Bloody Coil comes in. So that person that's running around disarming all your traps, you can leave them injured and make them not really want to disarm those traps. You're putting them in a risky situation. That whole thing becomes risky. Countering you becomes now risky and it makes them one shot. Okay. Depending on the team, most of the people on the team are going to stay injured because they're going to constantly be disarming your traps. So you're basically just going to go from one shot to one shot each person. Okay. But let's say you didn't bring Bloody Coil. All right. And they're running around disarming your traps. They're going to need its passive slowdown. That's what this gives you. It's passive slowdown. Okay. With this add-on right here, they're constantly resetting. So you hear me often in my matches. Oftentimes they'll say, oh, I'm glad they're disarming my traps because I know that means somebody is not on a generator. That means one person is in a chase. One person is scouring the map, looking for traps to constantly be disarming because they're constantly resetting. And only 2 people max can be on a generator. That's pretty good. That's pretty good slowdown. That's pretty good. So there are many reasons that this add-on is what makes Trapper viable at the highest MMR. This right here, just one add-on, man. One add-on changes everything. And like I said, there are other ways to use this add-on, like using it in chase. If all the other traps are set and they're looping a pallet that's disarmed, the trap is on it, it's disarmed, you're just waiting that timer out. within 30 seconds, it's going to set itself and they're just going to get trapped and it's a one shot down. I do it quite often. If you guys watch my videos, you're familiar. I do it quite often. And by the way, guys, I don't know if I mentioned this already because I've already recorded this whole thing like twice and I had to delete the footage because there was a error. But I've beaten competitive players, comp teams on some of Trapper's worst maps. Eyrie of Crows, the game. I've set myself there with no perks, by the way. Perkless. No perks carrying me or whatever. No perks. Setting myself to Eyrie of Crows, the game, etc. On 4-man Swifts on comms. Bringing meta builds. Tons of hours. More hours than me in the game. And I'm winning. And I'm not just winning. I'm winning dominantly. I mean, you can check out my Perkless Trapper videos. I have a bunch of them. I have tons. Winning dominantly on some of the most survivor-sided maps in the game. Very anti-trapper maps, no grass, nothing to really cover the traps. Still winning dominantly against actual competent players as well. I mean, I've had people message me from different competitive teams to tell me the team they play for. Like, you can watch the footage. You can go to these, like the TTVs you see me in lobbies with. You can look at their streams and see how many hours and see like how much time they dedicate to the game. I'm not just like dunking on bums all day. I'm beating good teams with no perks. And just 2 add-ons on some of the worst freaking maps in the game. But we have to talk about Trapper's weaknesses. Because he has many strengths, but he does have weaknesses. And the biggest way teams are going to try to counter him. He has very weak map traversal. Doesn't have great mobility. Getting from one side of the map to the other is going to kill you a lot of time. And if they're gen rushers, if they're really on top of things, it can be incredibly difficult to manage. But I do have a solution. Let's say you just got a humongous map, and this here is the gen setup. Think Red Forest, think Ormond. All right. So you have 1 in the middle, 3 over here, and 3 over here. All right. Now, how would you want to place your traps? What you want to do in this situation is you want to cut the map in half like this. There you go. You want the bulk of your traps around these 3 gens. You want to protect these 3 gens as much as possible. It is imperative to trap all of these loops around these gens. Okay? Trapping these loops, trapping these loops. You do want to trap this. All right? Maybe 1 over here. But the bulk of your traps are going to be behind this line. This is your area of operation. You don't want to be over here at all. You want to protect this area. This is dangerous for them, okay? Incredibly dangerous. Now you want to defend this generator here, this middle one, as long as possible. But it's likely going to pop and it's going to be brought down to these 3. But these are going to be so hard to complete safely because when they try to rotate, right? If you have traps here, behind this line is thoroughly trapped. When they try to rotate from these generators, all they have are traps. This is the safe zone, right? This is where they need to get to be safe. This is where there's no traps. You went on this side, you collected the traps, you brought them back over here, okay? And you trapped this area, this half of the map, thoroughly. In order for them to be safe, they have to make it out of the danger zone and get on this side of the line. You'll likely hit them on their way out. They'll try to play one of these loops and they can't. By the time they make it to where it's safe, they're going to get hit twice. Trust me, I do this all the time. I do it all the time. If you have a perk like Brutal Strength or Rapid or something like that, it's even easier. But they're going to have such a hard time getting from here all the way over here to where it's safe. Because there are no loops for them to work with. You may leave them some very weak pallets, but that's just going to bait them into getting hit. And let's say you're really good at looping. You're going to get a hit regardless. And they're not going to have anything to play. They got to get all the way over here to be safe. It's just, it's like clockwork. It's like clockwork. I do this all the time. If y'all don't believe this is possible, look for matches where I play Trapper on Ormond or Red Forest. I destroy teams. I don't need the map traversal if I just cut the map in half. And now this is my map here. I'm pretending like all of this doesn't even exist. This is my map. Yes, I'm sacrificing generators, but this is my map. This is my map. This doesn't even exist. And it's so dangerous for them. And if you get a hook, now it's even worse for them. Now it is even, or if someone's already dead, whatever the case may be, this is so dangerous. They have to get all the way over here injured before base kit BT runs out. Right? Do you know how hard that is to get from all the way over here before base kit BT runs out? And now let's go over how you want to hook people. Okay, so all of these black circles represent hooks. All of these red X's represent traps. All of these green dots represent generators. Let's say you down somebody right here in this general zone. Let's say you down somebody right here. Tell me, which hook would you take this person to on this map? Which hook would you take them to? Would you take them to this one? Would you take them to this one? I mean, hey, look, it's right there. It's the closest hook. Oh, you get right into your next chase. Look, it's the closest hook. Would you take it to this one? I mean, hey, it is behind the line, right? It's close. Behind the line, it's closer than this one. Would you take them to this one? Yeah. This one's kind of far. Would you take them to that one? Would you risk that? Would you take them to this one? Would you try to make this trip? I mean, hey, it's around a lot of traps. Would you shoot for this one? This one's kind of deep, right? Would you go for that one? There's no way you're making that one. But which hook do you think is best? I'm gonna tell you right now. The hook you want to take them to? This one. Right here. That's your hook. Is it riskier? Yeah. It's deeper. It's not as close as these two. Why do you want to take them here? I'll tell you why. It's deep in the map. And every single loop, rotating out of it, is trapped. By the time base kit BT, let's assume you're tunneling here. By the time base kit BT runs out, let's say they're running. They can't play this loop. It's trapped. They can't play that one. It's trapped. They can't play this one. It's trapped. Can't play this one. It's trapped. It's going to run out right around this zone right here. This zone right here, base kit BT is going to run out. Even when it runs out, they still can't play anything. They can't play anything. There's traps everywhere. You're just going to down them again. It is impossible to escape this. Let's say they disarm this trap right here. Impossible still. And if they have bloody coil, they got injured doing that. Let's say they disarmed it a while ago. You have the Iriad on. It's going to reset itself. Boom. It's like it never happened. But there's nothing they can make happen. In order to get to the safe zone, they have to get all the way over here. All the way over here until it's safe again. How are they going to do that before base kit BT runs out? Body blocks? I don't even think that's enough. And that's why I usually like to go beyond the line and trap maybe one or two traps beyond the line. Just so I know if they do something miraculous, if they have a body block or something and they do make it to the other side, it's still going to be dangerous for them. They still can't play the immediate loop. You see me even on a recent video I played with Trapper. I say I'm going to trap the immediate loop on the other side. That's what I did. Yep. So I do it all the time. This works all the time. Let's assume you're tunneling. Let's just assume, hey, you're playing Trapper. All right. It's a green light. It's a green light to tunnel when you're playing Trapper. Dude, they're not making it over here by the time base kit BT runs out. Like it's not going to happen. They're not going to make it over there. You can probably hit them fresh off the hook. And even after they get their speed boost, they probably still can't even make it to the safe zone, which is going to be this area right here. They probably still won't be able to make it over there by the time it runs out, or by the time they, get their speed boost and get over there to where it's safe. You'll probably just still be on their ass. Hook positioning matters a lot. A lot of Trapper is map knowledge, understanding survivor tendencies, behaviors, habits, etc., etc. Getting them to play altruistic is incredibly important, and you do that by tunneling somebody, threatening that tunnel. Now people have to peel off gens to make sure that person doesn't die. They got to peel off the gens, and it's just it's passive slowdown. And then you slug one of them. Maybe you hit one of them, their body block, and they're willing to go down or get a hook, but you're not going to hook them. Never hook the person that is trying to go down for somebody that's dead on hook, that's injured. Never hook them. Slug them and kill the person you're already on. Now someone else has to peel off a gen to pick that person up, and it's just a whole thing. You're going to win the game, dude. If they do all that shit, you're basically, it's a win. It's in the freaking bag. So I just played like 5-6 matches with no perk trapper, won all of them in a row. But one thing I forgot to mention is, or put emphasis on rather, is the fact that you can create dead zones with trapper. All right. If you have a loop right here and a loop right here, and let's see, you have a little thing, you know, right here, and then you have another loop right here, a little small loop right here. You have enough traps to trap this, trap this, trap this, trap this, and trap this, right? And then there's more of the map over there, like off to the side over there. But this entire section of the map is effectively one massive dead zone now. And you've done that using your traps. And let's say somebody, you know, they go over here and disarm this one, right? Like, let's say now this trap is disarmed. Well, where are they going to go? Here's trap, you know, so if they step into these, that's a one shot down. Here's trap. So you're going to get an M1 on one of these, if not here, right? Because you have brutal strength, you break that, get an M1. They're going to have to try to play maybe this one. They can't play it. You're going to get another M1 because they have to pause here before they can make it to the other loop that's off, you know, maybe over here. They're not going to be able to get there in time. So you're going to hit them here and then likely hit them here or somewhere along the way. So this is how you create dead zones with trapper. I'm going to make more of these videos, really put emphasis on different like principles, which because there's other like techniques and like there's techniques and principles to keep in mind with trapper. And I would say like one of the techniques, like high level techniques, like you'll see people do with trapper is like setting a trap right before somebody drops the pallet. You're threatening to walk through it and you set the trap so you avoid the stun. Like that's like a little thing. It's like a built-in enduring, you know what I mean? But like you don't even have to take the stun at all. You can just get the pallet out of them. You have, when you trap somebody in the middle of a pallet, right? And they're on it, to avoid anybody being able to get a pallet safe, you swing at them and they flap forward out the way of the pallet, and now nobody can get the pallet safe. You know what I mean? Like let's say somebody is right here and they're in the trap, right? And they're literally right in front of this pallet right here. Let's say this thing beside them is the pallet and they've been trapped right in the middle of it. If you, the killer, this is the killer right here, if you hit them with your, you know, your weapon, they flop forward and then they're going to be down right here instead. And then you, as the killer, move up here and pick them up, and now nobody can get the pallet save because they were from the pallet, or they went from the pallet here to over here, and you're picking up over here. Your body is here now, and that's how you avoid pallet saves with trapper. There's lots of things you can do, you know what I mean? There's lots of little tricks you can pull off with trapper to make it incredibly difficult for them to make anything happen. So yeah, he's in a lot of ways, man, like he counters so much. He counters a lot. But yeah, so I just wanted to add this in here because I've recorded it and then I played some matches and I thought of things that I should have said, but I'm just going to make other videos. But yeah, there you go. So yep, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to make more like this for trapper, you know, because I didn't touch on everything I wanted to here and there's just so much to go over, but I don't want the video to be too long. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something. And yeah, man, I would definitely recommend y'all watch some of my perkless trapper videos. Look, I make it look easy, man. No perks. We just crush these teams. Highest MMR constantly, dude. Constantly. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub for more. Let me know y'all's thoughts on trapper as a whole, where you would set him in a tier list. And yeah, let me know what y'all learned, what y'all found the most helpful here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay healthy. Peace.